Drew Malley, and I'm here from Tampa, Florida at the spring home of the New York Yankees. And I'm here today to tell you how the New York Yankees use mental imagery in order to help enhance the performance of their athletes.
In the 8th inning, leading by 3 as Boone hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series. Boone, a hero in Game 7.
Imagery is described as an experience that mimics actual experience while employing different sensory modalities in the absence of actual perception. Or imagery can also be thought as perception without actual sensation. It is also unique in the respect that an individual engaged in imagery must be self-aware and conscious to be actively engaged in imagery. And that's the difference between imagery and dreaming. Research published in 2001 by Dr. Hall shows that knowing what an athlete's imagery is doesn't necessarily show what function it is serving. Now, an athlete can use an image for skill refinement, motivation, or enhancement of self-efficacy. Now, in 2008, Dr. Murphy proposed that imagery type should be reserved for describing what type of image. So it would be like a New York Yankee working on imaging his swing. So the swing would be the type, or imagery type. Whereas Dr. Murphy also stated that imagery function should be applied to why is the athlete using that image. So why would a New York Yankee be focused on his swing? It could be to increase his batting average, or to hit more home runs, or to drive more runners in. And to wrap this section up, finally, imagery outcome deals with the overall goal of the imagery. So for a New York Yankee out here working on his swing, why is he working on that swing? Why is he engaging in imagery for that swing? And in this instance, it could be to hit more home runs, to drive more runners in, or just to increase his overall batting average. But these are 3 of the main functions in Cummings' 2009 study of imagery. So now, one more thing I'd like to do is let you take a look at how the Clemson football Tigers are already employing mental imagery and taking it to the next level to help improve the performance of their young football athletes.
What's revolutionary in this new proprietary system by Striver, a Palo Alto-based technology company, is that the system stitches a 360-degree virtual reality out of live-action footage, complete with immersive sound. To your brain, the experience is real. Teams can now turn their practice films into customized VR training experiences for their players.
Goal is to trick our players into thinking if they watch 10 plays on the headset for virtual reality, in their mind they feel like they've been there for those 10 plays. Again, they've lived those 10 plays just by standing in a room without breaking a sweat.
Yeah, I go in there, find the blitz, see how they line it up. Come, game day, it's all natural and you're just playing.
And it's pretty amazing. I mean, the view that I'm seeing is immersive. It's everything that you would normally see on the field. I mean, I could see a coach behind me, and players all around, and it's about as real as it gets.
Absolutely.
Without being
the mental aspect of the game is, it's definitely more than 50% of it. Don't you think you should work on that? People were neglecting that mental part of it, and I think that has really, really grown over the past few years, and this is just another level to that, another layer to that mental preparation.
Now that's some pretty cool technology that the Clemson Tigers are using. But now I'd like to transition into the applied model of imagery use as described by Jennifer Cummings in 2009. At the core of Dr. Cummings' model, it's really what you see is what you get. Or, simply put, the imagery should align with the desired outcome. And as you can see, the New York Yankees' desired outcome is World Series championships. And this applied model can show the ways that an athlete can use imagery to enhance their cognitive, affective, and behavioral outcomes. The sports situation, the image type, and image ability are the 3 factors that are said to contribute to the effectiveness of an imagery intervention. Now let's see if we can find a couple Yankees players and Yankees legends hanging around the stadium here and find out how they use the applied model of imagery use to better their performance. use imagery, do you picture that before you go out there?
I picture that 2 days before. A couple days before, I'm always like visualizing myself, throwing good pitches, not necessarily striking guys out, but just throwing good pitches and make, seeing the pitches making the action they're supposed to make. And, I watch video of, it don't have to necessarily be a strikeout. It could be bases loaded and I get a pop-up, just good things happening. So I try to keep those in my head more so than the negative thoughts. You're going to have negative thoughts. It is what it is. We're human. But if you can kind of get more good thoughts and visualize good things happening, more so than the negative stuff, is good.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is goodbye. Hard shot right field. It's gone. Oh, what a World Series for Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson has seen 2 pitches in the strike zone tonight. 2. And he's hit them both in the seats. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, what a blow. What a way to top it off. Forget about who the most valuable player is in the World Series. How this man has responded to pressure. Oh, what a beam on his face. How can you blame him? He's answered the whole world.
I guess I've practiced visually on a particular swing or a particular move in quiet time. Not trying to predict the future or predict success. I think I've imagined, as any other kid would imagine, hitting a home run in Yankee Stadium for the Yankees as a kid. But as far as imagining hitting 3 home runs in the World Series, that's a question. Never. No way. I don't think there's any replacing hard work. In order to have imagery, I think you have to have hard work. I don't think you could sit at home and dream up an idea of what you think you're going to do, then walk into the World Series at that level, or the Super Bowl, or the Masters golf tournament, or the Kentucky Derby. And because of imagining, or because of thinking something that you would call imagery, would be real imagination. Imagery is another term for me than a vicarious practice, vicarious experience. And I would say that, did I do vicarious experiences before I hit the home runs of the World Series? No. Was I prepared? Did I know I was capable for the opportunity if it presented itself? Absolutely. Because that night I had such an incredible batting practice. If I had 50 swings, I had 35 balls within a 50-foot radius. So I certainly had the imagery to refer to.
So past experiences helps with that?
Certainly past experiences did. Certainly the batting practice I had, because when I left the batting cage, my comment was, I hope I don't leave it here. But I got the opportunity. So, imagery is important. I'm going to use my term of your term of imagery, and that my term would be vicarious practice, going over it and over it in my head as to what I want to do, trying to repeat something in my mind so that it would translate physically to me. I think that's valuable practice, and I think that works.
In Cummings' 2009 study, she said that there are 5 main types of imagery and other less prevalent types of imagery, but the main 5 are going to be as follows. The first is cognitive specific, which deals with imagery of sports skills or rehabilitation exercises, like a penalty flick in field hockey or a swing in baseball. Then we have cognitive general, which deals with the imagery of strategies, game plans, and routines. Now that's followed by motivational specific, which deals with specific goals or goal-oriented tasks. Then we have motivational general arousal that deals with somatic or emotional experiences like stress or anxiety in games, in at-bats, and in competitions. And lastly, we have motivational general mastery, which is dealing with imagery that helps deal with coping with stressful situations or failures, like striking out or making an error. Now, there are a multitude of reasons why athletes engage in mental imagery, but the majority of these reasons fall mainly into the cognitive and functional roles. Cognitive reasons include learning a skill, planning and prioritizing strategy, memorizing, and understanding a skill. When examined at the specific and general levels, the cognitive functions are mainly for skill development and performance, whereas the cognitive general function similarly describes strategy development and execution. The applied model of imagery use suggests that there are 3 categories of outcomes that can be achieved by an athlete using mental imagery. Number 1 is to facilitate the learning and performance of skills and strategies. Number 2 is for modifying cognitions, and number 3 is for regulating emotions and managing competitive anxiety. So these World Series trophies here are a result of the New York Yankees and their commitment to enhancing performance of their athletes through the use of mental imagery, and more specifically, the applied model of imagery use. Now altogether, it seems to be that there's some congruence between an athlete's images and that of an athlete's images outcome. So, what that means is there is some congruence between the applied model of imagery use and the what you see is what you get principle.
Start spreading the news.